Hi there and welcome to the Shot List Show, where we talk about all things movies, the good, the bad, and the eh. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
And this is episode 002. Thank you to our audience. Okay, that's enough audience. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite comedies, as well as our favorite comedians. And the first thing we're going to do is a little game that we call Going In Blind.
Alrighty, welcome to the segment that we like to call Going In Blind. So for this game, I have a set of handy dandy note cards here, kind of like last episode. But on these note cards, there are multiple brief synopses, whatever the plural form of synopsis is, of movies that Jeff has watched in the comedy genre. And I'm going to read them to Jeff. And then after I read them and he guesses the movie based off the synopsis that I provide, we are going to blindly rank them on a scale from 1 to 7. 1 being the best one out of the 7 that I list, and then 7 being the worst, obviously. Okay, so are you ready for our first synopsis of a movie?
I am ready.
All right.
Ready. I don't have a blindfold, budget cuts.
Yeah,
So.
we don't have any props, so the blindness is figurative. Okay, so this one is about a dead guy who refuses to stay dead that turns a simple job opportunity into the worst real estate deal ever.
Is this Beetlejuice?
Indeed it is. This is Beetlejuice. Wow. He's already warmed up and ready.
Yes,
okay.
Indeed.
So on a scale from 1 to 7, that cannot change. Once you've solidified where this note card goes, it is not going to change. Where would Beetlejuice go? You don't even know the rest of the movie.
I don't know the rest of the movies. I'm gonna put it right in the middle. I'm gonna go 5.
Okay, you're gonna go 5.
Yeah.
So Beetlejuice is gonna be 5th place out of all the movies. Okay, we're gonna go on to the next one. This movie is about 2 individuals that embark on a quest to retrieve a lost item, only to become criminals, fashion icons, and Nobel Prize contenders in the process. Fun fact, I have not watched this movie.
Okay. They go on a quest.
To retrieve a lost item.
Okay.
During this quest, they become criminals, fashion icons, and Nobel Prize contenders in the process.
And I have watched this movie.
It was on your list.
Okay.
If it helps you, I can give you a hint. These individuals have an adjective associated with them about the way that they act.
Is this the Stupids?
No, but you're very close.
Okay.
It's a synonym to stupid.
Because it's not the Stupids. Oh. I actually have no idea.
All right, so you're at a loss.
I am at a loss.
Okay,
As
so
soon as you tell me what it is, I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense.
the
But,
2 individuals who also go by the name of Dumb and Dumber.
oh, man.
Dumb and Dumber. With Jim Carrey, and I don't know who the other actor is, but I haven't watched it.
It's
But,
Jeff Daniels.
okay, yeah, I haven't watched it.
Jeff Daniels? Yeah.
We'll have editing Malachi put the name of it in
Okay.
there. But yeah, never watched it. I know it's a classic comedy movie. I just never got around to watching it. And I am not partial to movies where there are very smart actors that act as stupid characters. I don't find dumb comedy
Yes.
really funny. But on the list, we have number 5 taken by Beetlejuice. Where would Dumb and Dumber fall onto that ranking? Remember, Jim Carrey may be watching this show, so
Yes, he may.
keep that.
And
in
all
your-
4 of you are watching this show.
Jim Carrey. is fantastic.
See, because I don't know what else is next. So
That's why we're going in blind.
I think we're gonna go. We'll do. We'll put that. No, number 4.
Number 4.
So that one,
Okay.
number 4.
So we have 1 through 3. We have the podium left, and we have 6 and 7. All right. Going to the next one. This is also another movie I've not watched.
Okay.
This movie is about a man whose self-proclaimed skills involve screaming and falling. He finds himself in a web of crime and coincidences. I know that one's kind of broad, so the part that I need you to focus on for this synopsis is his skills are, it is a man whose skills are very self-proclaimed. I can't help you out because I never watched the movie, but
All right, read it again.
a man whose self-proclaimed skills involves screaming and falling. He finds himself in a web of crime and coincidences. Sounds like every Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah.
But that one's not really a comedy per se. I will say when I was doing research for comedy movies, this was like one of the #1 like classic movies, and I believe it came out in the 80s.
Okay. Once again, I'm stumped.
Alrighty, so this one is called The Naked Gun.
Oh.
The Naked Gun. Have you watched that one?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but yeah, okay.
Can you give me a rough synopsis about what the movie is actually about? Because I have no idea.
It's a parody movie, and he is the main guy is a police officer, and he's trying to solve a crime, but he is the most inept police officer, and it's full of puns. The entire thing is just full of puns. So they will say one of the things, I don't know if it's in this particular movie, but one of his other movies, one of them says something about, surely you have to do this or whatever, and he says, yes, I have to do this, and don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley.
Right.
Yeah, I know a lot of quotes from this movie when I was doing research, but I've never watched it.
Right.
So I feel like it's kind of falls into that category of movies that I've never watched, but I kind of have to feel like I have to watch them out of obligation because it's like a classic. But going back to our ranking, where would you put The
Okay, so
Naked Gun?
this one's gonna go down. So what are we at here? This is 3 and 4.
That's 4 and 5
4 and 5.
out of 7.
Okay, so we're gonna put that one about 6,
Okay, number 6. So
Yeah.
we have last place still
just in case.
still there for one of these 4 cards that are left. All right.
Okay.
So this next one, I have watched this one. This one involves a clueless man-child that spreads chaos and confusion wherever he goes, proving that cheer and whimsy is a legitimate form of psychological warfare.
Holy crud.
And I made it very broad. I made this one
yeah.
very hard.
I came in here, I was very confident that I was just gonna oh, I got all this. Okay, all right.
I can give you a little hint. The cheer and whimsy that he spreads revolves around a specific holiday.
Is this Elf?
This is indeed Elf.
Elf.
I tried to make it hard because I didn't want to put holiday and Santa in there because that kind of gives it away.
Yeah. Best way to spread Christmas cheer is hanging loud for all to hear.
For all to hear. Alrighty, where would you put
All
Elf,
right, so Elf-
on a list of comedy movies?
So Elf is gonna go probably up here.
Okay.
'Cause I really like Elf.
So we have Elf at number 3. We have Dumb and Dumber at number 4. Beetlejuice at number 5, which is coming in lower than I expected. And then we have The Naked Gun at 6. So I'll put that right there. And then so we have first and
Oh,
second.
that's sick. Okay, yeah.
First and second is still reserved, and then last, which I don't think any of these deserve last. Okay, so our next one, which I have also watched. I think I've watched all the ones left. This one involves a teenager that channels their deep-seated love for rebellion, elaborate excuses, and fourth wall breaking to orchestrate the greatest absence in human history.
This one is Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Audience clap, clap, clap. Yep. Okay, cut that. So where would you put Ferris Bueller's Day Off on a list? Yeah, first, second, and 7th.
Okay, then let's put Ferris Bueller's
Okay,
second.
so we have Ferris Bueller taking the silver medal. So now we have the gold medal and then the absolute bottom of the barrel.
Okay.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna do this one first. Okay, so this one is about a ragtag group of individuals that save the world with glorified flashlights, oversized shades, and a free trial of Men's Warehouse suits. I will say Men's Warehouse is not actually in the movie. They just have suits.
Is this Men in Black?
It is Men in Black.
Okay.
I have watched, I think, the last edition where they're going through time. And I have rode the ride, and I've watched probably the first one, but I haven't watched it in a while. So where would you put this? Either first or last? You don't know what this next one is.
I don't know what the last one is.
I know where I would put this next one, but I cannot give you that yet because I'm evil.
Well, I'll just go ahead and put this one up here.
Okay, you're putting Men in Black in first place. So that means this last card is going to be in 7th place.
It's going to be a great movie.
Finally, our last card here is in 7th place. And the synopsis reads, a man not fit for childcare disguises himself, proving that elaborate deception is a perfectly responsible way to maintain a healthy parenting relationship. And this is actually a perfect segue.
Okay, read it one more time.
I got you. A man, clearly not fit for childcare, disguises himself, proving that elaborate deception is a perfectly responsible way to maintain a healthy parenting relationship.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Indeed it is. It is Mrs. Doubtfire, which you are putting in 7th place in the worst category.
Naked Gun should have gone there. We probably should have put it up here, about like that.
So initially, what you had was Men in Black was first,
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off was second, Elf was third, Dumb and Dumber was fourth, Beetlejuice is fifth, Naked Gun sixth, and Mrs. Doubtfire in at 7th. Now,
Yeah.
I'm going to allow you to switch them around based on actual accuracy to give the late, great Robin Williams some respect in this house. So where would you put these movies?
Actually, so probably, I might actually move Ferris Bueller down.
Okay.
Put it like that.
Okay, interesting.
We'll do that one.
Alrighty.
There we go.
So your final list that you have for us
Yeah.
in the first segment is Men in Black is first,
Yeah.
which is surprising to me. I like Will Smith, but I don't think that I would put that one in first. Elf is second, which I think is deserved. Mrs. Doubtfire in third. Dumb and Dumber in fourth. Ferris Bueller's Day Off in fifth, which is low for me.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice in sixth, and then The Naked Gun in 7th. I agree with The Naked Gun being 7th because I have never watched it, and it sounds just like a parody movie.
It is very much a parody movie.
But interesting. Obviously, I tried to pick a range of comedy movies, so it's hard to compare and contrast.
Good job. Yeah, you did.
But I'm glad that you got to get them from some of them. Some of them I Googled like just broad synopses, and then some of them I came up with. I'm glad that the one that I came up with, the Men in Black, ended up at the top. But so now we are going to go into our next segment talking about comedians who have acted, or actresses that have acted in movies, talking about our favorite ones, why we enjoy them so much, and then our favorite movies by them. So I'll let you go first since you have more expertise in the comedy world.
So I do have a question.
Okay.
So with the comedians, do they have to be living, or is it ones that have passed away?
We can do it all time. If you want to give both, you can. Because mine has passed away, but we can do both. Because I have some that go into both categories as well.
So if we were going with ones that have passed away, in the top 3 would probably be, number 3 would probably be John Candy.
Okay.
He was awesome. And then there was Chris Farley.
Okay.
Tommy Boy, fantastic. But number 1 would have to be Robin Williams. So now if we were going for still living, then that would probably be Rowan Atkinson.
Okay.
Because who plays Mr. Bean. But my favorite movie that he would be in is it's called Rat Race.
Okay.
And he plays a character who has narcolepsy, and it's really actually quite funny. If you haven't seen Rat Race, go watch Rat Race.
Do you want to give like a little synopsis?
So Rat Race it takes place in a hotel casino, and John Cleese, who is one of the last surviving members of the Monty Python series, he is an eccentric millionaire, and in his casino, random people get chosen by playing a slot machine and they get a weird coin.
Okay.
And then that ends up pitting them all together. There's a whole group of them. And John Cleese tells them that there is $1 million in a airport locker so many miles away. And he gives them a key. All of them have the exact same key to get into the locker, and he tells them to go. Well, what he doesn't tell them is that there are a whole bunch of other eccentric millionaires who are betting on these different people and their resources to get to where they need to go. And so you have all of the different people who are trying to get the $1 million, and then you have the millionaires who are betting on what's going on with that.
For your comedian, I already forgot his name. I'm gonna call him Mr. Bean because that's all I've seen him in.
Right.
What makes him your favorite? Like, is it the way, because I know he's a good physical comedian, like
Right.
his facial expressions are really, really good. Or is it like the way he delivers his lines, or is it just like a general, like, I just really
It's
like
just
the way that he
in
does stuff?
general, he is very physical, and he doesn't really. He kind of talks similar to Mr. Bean in that movie. He doesn't have a whole lot of lines, but he's very physical, and he's just he's a fantastic actor.
But for mine, I also gotta agree with your top spot. Mine is Robin Williams. He's in a broad, like, array of movies, and in each one he plays a different character. But also, for some of his movies, he'll find himself in like a niche category. So like Mrs. Doubtfire, obviously, he's like this very eccentric character. However, I feel like all of his comedic roles have a serious side to them, which I kind of like. So in Mrs. Doubtfire, he's trying to get his kids to like him again. He's kind of having like a custody battle type thing going on with his ex-wife, I'm guessing.
Right.
So he dresses up as a babysitter and goes in the most extreme way to babysit them. I think that one's a really, really good one. My favorite movie that he's in, I think, is Good Will Hunting, which I haven't even watched until last year. I watched it because everybody was giving like rave reviews on it. So I watched it, and I love when he portrays a character that loves to teach a lesson to another character. It has Matt Damon in it, and he is like a professor at the school. Matt Damon is this like smart rebel kid who basically is using Robin Williams' character as a mentor through life. Matt Damon's character is kind of struggling through like focusing on school and doing like being successful at school versus his love interests. And Robin Williams is like, well, I have past interests or past experience in that. Let me help you. And it does have jokes. It has like physical comedy and it gets funny, but then it also has like very serious moments. Same thing with Dead Poet Society. He seems very like eccentric as a professor. He stands on the desk and tells people to live how they want to. And then one of the group members in the Dead Poet Society, spoiler alert, but it's kind of in the name, passes away. And so he like is there for people. I don't know. I think Robin Williams was a very like caring person. It's sad that he passed away in the way that he did. Everybody found joy in the way that he went through life and how he acted. I feel like one thing that I appreciate about his comedic timing is, although he's portraying a character, you can always kind of see him in the stuff that he's doing. Right. No matter what he would play, he would always kind of be himself. But yeah, that's like my favorite comedian of all time. I think he is very just through and through. I think if I'm gonna go with a comedian that's living and that needs more credit, I think I have two, and both of them aren't film, they're TV. I think Donald Glover, who's also known as Childish Gambino as his musical persona, but Donald Glover is really, really good. He has a new way of kind of having Gen Z humor and millennial humor kind of combined. I like very random, just off the cuff, like kind of like a comedic jump scare where you don't know what's going on, or they'll mention one thing in one episode and then like 8 episodes later they'll go back to it. And he directed this show called Atlanta, where each episode it follows this group of people that live in Atlanta and a bunch of random stuff happens to them. It's kind of episodic where each episode is different, but really, really funny. And then another person that I think needs more respect is, I think her name is Quinta Brunson. She is the creator of Abbott Elementary. I don't know if you ever watched that show. But she apparently, from what I remember, worked at BuzzFeed and then did really good there and was good at writing articles for them and tried her crack at writing for movies and TV shows and stuff like that. So she crafted Abbott Elementary, which is the TV show that's kind of like office sitcom style about these teachers at this elementary school in Philadelphia that's kind of like under funded, and she's like this optimistic teacher, which is very interesting because she's this optimistic teacher that teaches and goes about all these different ways to try and help her students out in the most beneficial way possible. Then you see her actor side and she's very like professional and prim and proper. It's very good. I like comedians that know the times as well. It makes me feel seen when I watch something. I'm like, okay. I'd be interested to see them do a movie. I feel like now that they've kind of done TV shows with Atlanta for Donald Glover and Quentin Brunson did Abbott Elementary, they're going to go into the film world. I'm just scared that they're going to go into something more serious. I think Donald Glover is already working on something serious. I haven't really kept track. I just kind of watch it and hear good things about it. So now we're going to be talking about our favorite movies, favorite comical movies of all time. I'll let you go first because mine is very weird and I'm going to try and explain it to the best of my ability.
One of my favorite comedy movies is, I have a whole list of them, but one of my favorite comedy movies is a movie called License to Drive.
Okay.
So this came out in the 80s, and it's all about a guy who gets his license now, or he's trying to get his license, and his friends, he's the first one of his friend group to get his license, and they want to go to this place that looks a lot like Sonic. Like a Sonic, like a drive-in burger place, but you have to have a car in order to get there.
Okay.
And apparently that's where all the girls are. That's where that is the place to be. And so all of the friend group that he's in is wanting to get to this drive-in place. And so he finally gets his license. Well, the problem is he's kind of a slacker. He's got a twin sister who, she is a straight A student. He is a slacker. He's like, I've got this. The sister ends up finishing, they go to the DMV, sister ends up finishing the test first, and he gets to the part where he's supposed to be doing stuff and he's answering questions wrong. And then it pops up and says, if you miss one more test or one more question, then you fail your test. So he hits the button, he misses it, answers it wrong. It pops up and says, you failed the test. He hits the side of the computer and shuts everybody's computer off. So then they can't pull his grades, so they don't know if he actually passed or not. So then he goes to get the actual driving test, and that doesn't work out. He's got the worst driving instructor that there is.
Okay.
So, and the driving instructor basically is like, look, I don't go by a clipboard. I've got a cup of coffee that sits on the dashboard. If you burn me, you fail. And then he has to go like up hills and he has to park in like super tiny spots, whereas his sister's got this long country road and he's like, go ahead and parallel park over here. Anyway, long story short, he doesn't get his license. He's got to wait, but his friends all think that he does.
Okay.
And then it is the night after that. And
his friends are relying on him to drive them to that Sonic spot. Okay.
Right. And he tries to tell his parents that he didn't get it. But his parents, before he can even get it out, his dad's like, here, take the BMW, you can go, da-da-da-da. All kinds of things happen to different stuff in whatever it is. A drunk guy steals their car, just everything goes wrong.
Okay.
And so, but it is super just, it's funny stuff that happens to him. It's a comedy of errors, the whole thing.
For mine is more of a recent adaptation or addition to the movie scene. I think you might have watched it. I don't remember from looking at the list because the list was long.
Yes.
But mine was an A24 movie. It is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
I have not seen that one yet.
Okay, so I'm going to try and put it into the best words possible. It is so hard to explain because it's very weird. Okay, so I'll kind of go in chronological order. So you're introduced to this Asian family, mom, dad, and daughter. They own a laundromat that they live above, and the mom comes in and she's very like uptight, strict on her daughter. Meanwhile, the dad is very kind of like loose and doesn't really care about what's going on. But you can see at the beginning that he is trying to tell the mom something, but the mom's running around trying to clean the house and trying to prepare dinner because her dad's coming into town and doing a bunch of stuff. And you find out that the dad is trying to give the mom divorce papers. That's like the first like arc of the movie. So then the daughter comes in and stresses the mom out more. The mom keeps getting stressed, gets stressed. Ultimately, the divorce papers aren't read yet, and the daughter's trying to tell the mom about her girlfriend that she has, but the mom isn't focusing. She's stressed about everything. So then the first like act that the family goes on after you're introduced to them in the laundromat is it's tax season, so they have to go to wherever you go to get your taxes reviewed. I don't know. My mom does my taxes.
H&R
Shout out,
block.
mom. Yeah, to an H&R Block.
Yeah.
Where their advisor at this H&R Block is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Okay.
She sits there and she's reading all these like receipts for stuff that they bought for their house and for their company. And she's like saying everything is wrong. Your company's gonna get shut down. Da 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 da. And the mom's like, I don't want this company to get shut down, because like this is my life and my dad is coming into town and I don't want to disappoint him. It's kind of playing on the generality of like Asian culture. Like families, they want to prove to their like fathers or their mothers or their higher ups, they want to be respected. So they play on that. I don't know if the director is of Asian descent, but I would guess so because they play on that theme a lot. So basically all this stuff is going on with like the IRS and taxes and the family dynamic. And then randomly, as they're sitting in the IRS H&R Block situation, the dad like turns the divorce, because he has the divorce papers on him still, turns them over and then starts like writing like quickly, starts acting weird. And everyone's wondering what's going on. Come to find out that the dad from another universe possessed the dad of the universe that we're in now. So he looks at his wife and he's like, listen, I am your husband, but I'm your husband from a different universe. I have taken over your current husband right now. You need to run, because all the stuff that you're doing that you're stressed out about right now is not going to matter, because there's someone from a different universe after you. And she's like, what are you talking about? She's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And then this huge fight breaks out with the IRS, because he's like, you have decisions to make that are going to affect how the rest of basically the movie goes.
Right.
He's like, don't sign that receipt. Get up, take your family, walk out. Like, we're just gonna act normal, because if I show myself acting weird, then a whole string of events is gonna go on. Long story short, she's like, I don't believe you. She starts doing the opposite of what he tells her to do. And so the H&R Block turns into like all these people going after them. It's kind of like Scott Pilgrim. Like, have you ever watched that movie?
I haven't. I've seen clips of it, but yeah.
Where like the main character is in the dark. They don't know what's going on. And then as the movie progresses, you kind of understand what's going on. Like in Scott Pilgrim, he dates Ramona, I think is the girlfriend's name. And then all these people just randomly start attacking him. And then you find out that Ramona has these evil exes that are coming after him. And you have to beat them in order to date Ramona, whatever. So you're in the dark. And the mom is like wondering what's going on. And the dad is trying to explain what's going on. And she finally comes to her senses and is like, fine, let me listen to you. Because if I listen to you, all this stuff will stop. I'm stressed out. So he says that she might be the chosen one. There's a bunch of like universes, like parallel universes going on. One of the parallel universes, there's this villain that is trying to jump through the universes to get her and kill her for some reason. We still don't know why. And the mom's like, fine, I'm just gonna listen to what my husband is saying, even though I think he's weird. And I'm just gonna listen to him, and hopefully this all ends. So throughout the movie, she is seen doing like these random things. Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she like falls asleep and like wakes up, and the Jamie Lee Curtis from that evil universe where the villain is like a minion to the villain. And so she gets possessed and then starts attacking them in the H&R Block. It's like a bunch of like parody, like there's like a scene where they like stand side by side and it looks like Mortal Kombat. You can tell that the director wants to pull from like different cultures. So then you go through, and then they unveil who the villain is. And the villain is the daughter of the family. So this is where it introduces more of that serious stuff. Obviously, when I watch a comedy, I have to have some form of serious stuff. Right. So the daughter has felt like she has been neglected by her mom because her mom has been so stressed with all the other stuff. The mom's been distracted by the divorce that she comes to find out that she tries to get a divorce. And so the daughter feels neglected and doesn't feel heard and gets disrespected. So in a different universe, she channels all that anger into like a literal form of power and tries to go to every universe and kill her mom. Okay. Yeah, very dramatic. The director and the like visuals of it are really cool because they jump from parallel to parallel. So like you'll go to the regular universe and everything's fine and dandy, and then you'll go to another universe where the mom's trying to talk to her daughter and they're like rocks just like sitting on the Grand Canyon, and then there's like captions that come up. And it's actually really, really sad. It's funny because I was watching it with my friend, and the rocks come up and they're sitting on the Grand Canyon and there's captions, and the dialogue is basically saying like, it's like this one of the grand finale like battles where the daughter has the power to jump through the universe, and so she grabs her mom and like takes her through every universe, and a bunch of weird stuff happens, and they get to this rock universe and it's just silent, and it's just like B-roll like sliding shots of these rocks sitting there, and the dialogue is saying like, the daughter is being like, you don't love me in any of these universes, that's why I have to kill you, because you have the power to try and like take this power away from me, like once you show me that you care, I'm gonna stop being evil, da 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 da. And the mom's like, I don't know why you think that, I love you in every universe. So I look over at my friend while we're watching these. It's a silent film. There's no music, nothing in this scene, just two rocks sitting there with like googly eyes. I look over at my friend sobbing, just crying at these two rocks sitting at the Grand Canyon. But it was a very sweet, tender moment because that's like the first part, or the first time when the mom expresses her love and gratitude towards her daughter. And I think the visuals are very stunning. I mean, even when they have two rocks just sitting on the Grand Canyon, it's beautiful. There's just a bunch of random stuff. It's hard to explain. It's gonna be like easier to put like visuals of stuff coming up as I talk about it. But it's a very, Malachi, do that. But I think the movie's really, really good. It's just so hard to explain. It was one of those movies where a lot of the movies that I like to watch now in theater, I will go in blind. I'll get a brief synopsis of it, and maybe watch like one trailer and then just go in blind. And I'm happy that I did for that one, because that one, it's like 2.5 hours of just nonsense, but once you watch it, it makes sense. So now as a bonus little question that I have, are there any comedy genres that you particularly just don't enjoy? Like you would watch them and you're just like, that is not my cup of tea. Call back to last episode.
I don't really care for like mockumentaries.
Okay.
I'm not really a big fan of parody movies.
Okay.
I think when I first started, when really parody movies started first coming out, I watched a couple of them, but after a while, it just, I don't know. I don't really care for parody movies.
So like, are you talking about like the Scary Movie and like Spaceballs and like where they?
Well, I like Spaceballs because I think that one was done really well, but
where they directly ripped like the themes and the cliches of other movies just to make another movie.
They did one about the Hunger Games, and I started watching that one, and I don't know. Yeah. I just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would think a lot of the newer parody movies of stuff, I'm not a big fan of. I guess I'm too old.
No, not at all. But I can agree. Some of them, they're just like poor taste. With mine, which I feel like the movies that fall under this category are some of people's favorites, but I cannot stand like dumb humor. Like Dumb and Dumber, I probably will never watch it just because they're intentionally acting stupid, and I don't find stupid people funny. Right. Same thing with like, I don't know, Step Brothers. Like that one kind of has dumb humor in it because they're acting like young brothers, but when I realize it, or when I watch it, I'm just very realistic. I'm like, these are 40-year-old men fighting over a drum set, and they're on bunk beds. However, when you think of that as a concept, a lot of the general public is gonna think that's funny. I just don't think that's funny. I have been criticized for it a lot because they're like, how do you not like Step Brothers? It's a classic. And maybe that's just because Will Ferrell has a lot of those where he's like, he's an older guy, but he's portraying a younger character like Elf and Step Brothers and all these other movies. But I don't know, I just can't get my head around it.
Yeah, most of the Will Ferrell movies that he does, I'm not a big fan. The only exception is Elf.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's more because it was supposed to be a family movie, but the other stuff that he does just, I don't know, it's not very funny to me. But I do love Elf. I love Elf.
I agree. I think that one's one of the greats. Speaking of the greats, we're going to allude to the next episode. We are going to be talking about our favorites. It's going to be a different little format. We're going to be doing it with a different setup, but we're going to be talking about our favorites of all time. We're gonna be talking about our favorite animated movies, our favorite guilty pleasures. So stay tuned on the next episode for our favorites, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching the Shot List Show. If you liked what you saw, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Let us know what you want to see in the next one. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.